I'm Kris Hagan. For those who don't know, I've been a language coach for many years. In my career, I've taught a wide variety of people, from famous singers and radio presenters to doctors, uni students, and yes, even desperate housewives trying to find an English lover. I've finally decided to share my thoughts, tips and tricks with the world. Also check out my YouTube channel if you want to see my ugly mush. So let's kick off this podcast with a great jingle.
Doesn't matter where you are, in the car or at the bar. Here for you comes in your ears, another word for thanks is cheers. Here's the new kid from the block, here for you around the clock, sharing all his English tips. Kris
is an anagram of risk.
Kris.
I want to start off this penultimate podcast, so penultimate because it's the 19th episode of the second series, welcoming into the world Lilibet. Now, choosing that name, a couple of people have made a couple of comments. Megan, if you want people to forgive you, just choosing the Queen's nickname as she was a child is probably not going to work. Now, going from the royal family over to California, here's Laura.
Now it's time for Laura, say to you by your Skype. She's at home in Nashville, couldn't find a flight. Laura likes to listen to the radio, but when it comes to music, she prefers it live. Laura, give for 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 Laura. Laura, give for Laura, give for Laura, give for Laura, give for.
Well, hello again, Kris. How has your week been?
My week's not been too bad, apart from getting wet on my bicycle. How's your holiday been?
I had a great time on my holiday.
Great. Good.
I visited a lot of friends in California. Several of them were musicians, so we talked a lot about music.
I bet you did.
I went to karaoke with my cousins.
Uh-huh.
I even got to sing with a band.
Ooh. And how was it? Were you good as always?
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
At karaoke, I started off with a Linda Ronstadt song because I figured in California she'd be a safe bet. She was a huge part of the 1970s California music scene.
Yeah, you mentioned her before, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, she was amazing. First concert that I attended, as you know, from earlier in the podcast this season.
Exactly.
And she's probably the reason I sing. I went to a birthday party where the birthday boy had his band play in the backyard. It was awesome. He's just like that. I get no warning. I'm sitting on a lawn chair when the singer announced that I was up to sing Suffragette City. Then the band played Rockin' in the Free World to close the show, and a police helicopter was encircling the house to check on a noise complaint.
Jeez.
It was very rock and roll. So driving up and down the state, I started thinking about all the musical contributions that California's made, and of course, I looked into it.
As you do.
Before the Europeans came to California, indigenous people, of course, had their own music here. But as California diversified, there were Chinese, Hawaiian, European, Mexican, Spanish settlers. Everyone came with their own cultural contributions. In the 30s and 40s, the music was largely folk and blues out in the western states, and square dancing became popular then, and it's still a popular form of dance. People rightfully always think of Nashville as the home of country music, but California has made significant contributions as well.
I didn't know that now.
There's a tiny, tiny town in central California called Bakersfield.
I've heard of it.
It's the home of Buck Owens of Hee Haw fame. Buck and his friends, including Merle Haggard, took issue in the 1950s with what they thought of as the slick production of Nashville country music. This became a significant movement inside the world of country music known as the Bakersfield Sound, and it was influenced by rock and roll, characterized by a strong backbeat and a staple of the honky-tonks in the 60s.
A honky-tonk. Not heard that word for a long time.
Further down the line, Dwight Yoakam, who is a product of the Bakersfield Sound, credits that with crossing over to other artists and other genres like Graham Parsons, the Grateful Dead, Emmylou Harris. Today's outlaw country sprang from the grit of the Bakersfield Sound. Very differently, the California Sound, however, is closely related to surf music. This style of music was prominent in the 1960s. It began with artists like Dick Dale, the Beach Boys, and Jan and Dean, and they all sang about sunny days on Southern California beaches, girls, and hot rods. The guitars used hella reverb, and the lyrics were super simple. Surfin' by the Beach Boys is widely considered the first and most illustrative hit of this genre.
Illustrative? I didn't realize you pronounced it different. Illustrative.
Sure.
Anyway, ignore me. Go on. Continue.
By the mid-60s, something totally different was happening up north in San Francisco. Have you heard of the Haight-Ashbury neighborhood?
No.
So this was an intersection in San Francisco at the center of the neighborhood where the whole hippie movement began, basically.
I didn't know that.
Golden Gate Park was nearby, and Hippie Hill was the scene of many a hippie festival.
Hippie Hill.
Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead, and Jefferson Airplane all played free concerts there. The neighborhood and the park were the heart of 1967's counterculture movement called the Summer of Love. Many musicians lived in the neighborhood, and bands all played with and for each other.
That's nice.
The movement was built on drugs, freedom, love, and art.
Apart from the drugs, sounds good.
It was pretty idyllic for several years. So much so that people came from all over the world to enjoy the lifestyle. Unfortunately, the area wasn't able to sustain the number of people who kept coming, and things went south. The hippies got a bit of a bad rap. A free music festival in Altamont, California went famously awry. Santana, Jefferson Airplane, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and the Rolling Stones all played. But as they did, violence and chaos grew in the crowd. The organizers had hired a group of Hell's Angels as security for the show.
Really?
Which
Hell's Angels as security is pretty...
Right, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
The opposite.
And they wreaked as much havoc as any rowdy attendee.
Surprise, surprise.
The Grateful Dead were also on the bill, but they declined to play due to how bad the violence had gotten. The Altamont Music Festival has gone down in infamy with 3 total deaths and a huge amount of theft and vandalism.
God.
At the same time, not too far off from the hippies, psychedelic rock was happening. This was exemplified by The Doors, which is my favorite psych rock band, and had influences from the British invasion, Indian and Eastern music, and eschewed traditional song structure. So it was a very different type of sound than the surf music or the hippie music. The 1970s saw an incredible group of songwriters form. While the Bakersfield sound had passed its prime, it did lead to an amazing form of country-infused rock that's still very popular today. The Eagles, Linda Ronstadt, Jackson Browne, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Joni Mitchell, and Poco were among the artists who played together and separately. They were all friends and supported each other in a musical community. Most of them lived in Laurel Canyon, and they played clubs together in Hollywood. This group is widely regarded as some of the greatest songwriters of all time, and the music's very popular today. There's a great documentary on Laurel Canyon if you're interested in learning more about this time.
Check it out.
In the 80s, Sunset Strip in Southern California was home to a glam rock movement. I remember this from high school. Bands like Rat, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Quiet Riot donned makeup and spiky hair and crazy clothes and celebrated drugs, sex, and rock and roll at excessive volumes. While not celebrated as widely, this group was wildly popular at the time, worldwide. Many of the bands, or what's left of them, are still touring now.
Really? Good for them.
I just saw a vintage Poison 45 in a cool record store in Claremont.
I don't know if I'm a psychedelic rock chick.
Absolutely
Guns N'
not.
Roses I know. But some of the others I've never heard of.
Well, they were huge in the day. The scene in the 90s, though, chilled out a bit. Third wave ska grew out of the 80s punk movement that included The Offspring. This new ska sound was dominated by prominent guitar riffs and great horn sections, and it really became popular in the 90s across the country. The best-known bands were out of the Orange County area. No Doubt, I would say, is the best-known third-wave ska band. And after a few very successful albums, Gwen Stefani launched her solo career. Surely you've heard of her.
Oh, God, yeah. She's fantastic. I love her.
Right? The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were also huge during that time. Of course, no Californian music discussion can happen without mentioning the rap and hip-hop scene. It's been a huge contribution to modern music. Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Ice-T, Tupac, and countless other artists brought their passion and skill to the mainstream in the 80s and 90s. Other forms of hip-hop from other parts of the country gained prominence after that, though. California is a diverse state with a lot of talent and creativity. Just because there's not a movement out there currently doesn't mean that the music isn't great. One of my very favorite new bands, Porcelain Hill, is out of Southern California, and I was delighted to see them on my trip. They have some great news.
Ooh, let's hear it.
What up, rock and rollers? It's your boy Big D from Porcelain Hill, coming all the way from Southern California. We got a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of stuff going on. We just released our new album, Porcelain Hill, self-titled. You know how we do. We got a music video for our song Warm Days, Hot Nights, so make sure you head over to YouTube, check that out. While you're there, like and subscribe. We're going to be touring the UK at the end of August all the way into October. Lots of big stuff. So, again, we're on everywhere. Porcelain Hill, at Porcelain Hill, you know. Porcelain Hill, just hit us up, man. We're out there. Porcelain like China, Hill like a mountain. Peace.
So, yes, check out their new album. And if you're in the UK this summer, check out a live show. Hopefully they'll be touring the US after that.
Book your tickets now. Well, thank you very much, Laura, and we'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Bye for
now.
now.
Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon.
You will do. Bye.
Now we know something more about music. Thank you, Laura.
I don't know if you can hear, there's a storm above me now. Thunder has just basically destroyed my roof. I love it. At least that's a nice sound. The other night at 2 a.m. in the morning, right near my house, there were people having a party. And what were the police doing? Seeing as there's the curfew at 11 o'clock, of course they were there giving them fines. No, they weren't. Also, I would like to thank everybody for booking their places on my first, or at, in, or whatever, my first webinar, which is this Wednesday. But if you missed out because it's limited tickets, don't worry. There's also another 3 ones there. I think there's Mimi, there's Jonathan, and then on rotation it'll be me again, you lucky people. So go and book the other ones now with Mimi and Jonathan. You can see all the information on all our social media because we've got plenty of it.
Introducing Mimi Melendez, mixing cocktails from Miami to New York. People blame her for getting legless just cause she mixed it. She didn't pour it down your throat.
No, she didn't.
Remember to leave her a tip.
Mimi's back, and I asked her to explain to us why we actually need to tip, because many people sometimes don't understand that they actually need to tip, and there's a reason behind it. It's not just to be nice. So she said to me, yeah, but it's too long to explain in one podcast, so I've given her 2. Okay, so go.
Well, thank you, first of all, for giving me some extra time on this, because it is so important, and this is something that I feel very passionate about, and I'm always happy to explain to people the point of tipping and how it all works in the United States, because a lot of people don't understand it because it's not a custom that they use in their own country. But I just want to take the time to really let people know how it all works. So my first question to you, Kris, is have you ever heard this? Ignorance of the law is no defense?
No.
Okay, so it basically says that this is like a law thing. It basically says that you can't use the excuse that you didn't know about something when it should be common knowledge or common sense, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, acting ignorant.
Yeah, so you can't use as an excuse to get out of something that you didn't know, something that
I didn't know I couldn't
know.
kill you, for example.
Exactly. So apparently, I do have to explain some of these things to people that I feel like is common knowledge, unfortunately. So let me just start by this. It should be, I like to think it's widely known that in the United States, the custom is for customers to tip at bars and restaurants. If you're a tourist to any country, you should do a little research about things you should know before you travel, right?
Online you can see all these things.
That's totally normal. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you that tipping will always make the list on any article of things you should know when you're traveling to America, because it's that important. Having worked in food and beverage in New York and Florida for more than 15 years, I was always amazed at patrons that would come into our establishment and have a great time and enjoy the services and not leave a tip. It was such an insult. It's such a common problem in major cities, at least where I worked, like New York and New York City and Miami Beach, that obviously it's a big tourism market. That we had literal lists of countries that workers would make, that people would make, that produce the worst tippers, okay? And no, I will not share what's on some of the lists that I've seen, right? No. That would take too long. Yes, I will. I'll secretly show you who are the worst tippers around the world.
Not the English. Italians, probably.
Okay, well, we'll talk later. I actually remember one lounge that I worked in New York. It's this beautiful upscale rooftop lounge, like perfect, 300 degrees of the city and New Jersey.
Only 300
because there was like a part where the bar was, which
of course.
blocked. Actually, honestly, it was probably like 300 and I don't know, 20 degree view. Mm-hmm. But anyway, on Sundays, we tended to receive more tourists for some reason. And the tips were so bad that management actually had to include automatic gratuity into every check in order for us to continue working there. And in order for them to be able to sustain a staff. Yes, that's right. We jokingly called it the tourist tax because of that. And a lot of people will say, well, how else am I supposed to know that I need to tip? Well, let me just note that many travelers pay with credit cards, right? It's safe, it's common, it's accepted everywhere. You don't have to do the exchange, which means that they have to sign a receipt. On every card receipt, there is a space to write the tip. And if you don't know what that means, you ask your server or bartender, and that they will be happy to explain that to you, okay? So not only do you have the space to write the tip, then you have to write the total of the check, including the tip. Okay.
But you can decide what tip to give.
That's right. And then you put the signature. Some receipts will go as far as giving you a suggestion.
Giving you 10% is this much,
yes.
20% is this
so
much.
I've been told by some people that they purposely don't tip because they don't care about local customs, or because they figured their vacation budget out and it didn't include tipping, which honestly can add up if you like spending money on eating or drinking out. But how disrespectful is that? Do you really want to be that person leaving a terrible impression on minimum wage workers about your people, your country, right?
I know representing the whole country.
That's right. That sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it really is true. I still remember really bad tippers from years ago, in fact. But I have found that most of these travelers who don't tip for those reasons don't really understand why they should tip, which is the important part. I mean, imagine after a day's work, your boss says, I'm just not going to pay you today. It's pretty much the same thing when it comes to bartenders and servers. We depend on tips to compensate for our work. So keep that in mind the next time you're in a bar, and continue listening to more explanation for tips.
So listen.
Listen.
In fact, in the next podcast, she will finish her little speech about
why you should tip.
That sounds really...
Damn it.
You shouldn't tip. Now, just remember, just so you know, once in Prague, I left a €300 equivalent tip by mistake.
Ooh.
So that person, I'm sure he left his job and he was very, very happy. The day after, one of my friends said to me, go and ask for it back. No, he can keep it. It's fine.
Thanks,
See
Kris.
you next week.
Mimi Menendez, a mixologist.
So remember, go and book your space or your place, your space or whatever, your bum on a seat in front of a camera for the webinar of Mimi. Now you know who she is. You've also seen her on the YouTube channel. I also need to get some other ones of my teachers involved in the YouTube channel, the English teachers in Italy, because we're in Italy, okay, but we're all still English natives. And so go and have a look also at our our YouTube channel. Who's next?
She's from Australia,
Koala.
or is it maybe South Africa? She doesn't know either, but one thing's for sure, she makes business English sexy.
Like a kangaroo.
It's Kelly Lawrence.
Kelly's back again. Hey, but it's nice to see you for once.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you. We're recording all these podcasts in the same day, so it's not really 25 weeks of Kelly here.
Exactly.
So
I think Kris has had a few gin tonics.
No, it's just Coke. It's just Coca-Cola.
He says that, but...
No, I wish there was some gin in it, in fact. Why don't I have any gin? We have no staff in this place. Okay, so what I was thinking of was the fact that now Kelly is probably in Australia when this podcast is released because she's abandoning me. But also, when she's on her flight, she'll be watching some films, I'm sure, for 25 hours flying back to Australia, because I'm not
Probably
firing her, she's leaving me. So you know that I'm not getting rid of her. So I thought, well, you're going to be watching films on the plane. What kind of films can we watch to improve our business English? Kelly.
A good question. I have
Or
to
films
say that
or series even.
Exactly. I would have to say series here because the flight to Australia is at least 24 hours. So I usually start a series if I want
25 films is a little bit too much.
Exactly. So look, I was thinking of giving you guys some recommendations for
flying to Australia or in quarantine. It's the same.
Exactly. Well,
the time is more or less the same.
It's the same, exactly. You could probably learn English in the time you'd have to spend in quarantine in Australia. It's a big process. So, anyway, I wanted to give you some series that take place in a business setting, because this is very useful if you want to improve your business English, because you can hear others using expressions in the office. Because
the things that you spoke about.
Exactly, and in fact, a lot of things that I've spoken about you will find in these series. So if you're looking for let's say a series or a film recommendation, try and find one that's in an office, and that way you will be able to also practice business English. So the first one I wanted to bring forward... That doesn't
include films for people who are over 18, films on the top shelf. Because normally they're all set in an office.
That's true. Or maybe there are some vocabulary there.
The Secretary was a film. Was it set in an office? I don't know.
The Secretary, I'm not sure, yeah.
Our director is nodding because he's a pervert and so he's seen it. Any other suggestions you have? Apart from the Secretary.
So some non-18 plus ones.
Some non-erotic ones.
Of course.
On a plane, erotic films are not the best idea.
Good point. Look, the one you could go forward with would be The Office, of course. Set in an office, all about work. It's a good one too.
The Office, you mean with Ricky Gervais?
Yes,
series.
that's it. The series, exactly. The Office.
Comedy in inverted commas.
Exactly. It's not that funny, but...
He thinks it's funny. Ricky Gervais is very funny in other things, but The Office, I never understood it. But the vocab is very officey.
Exactly, I agree. It's not that funny, but it would serve its purpose. The other one, which I think is quite funny, I've only seen a few episodes, but I really enjoyed it. It was called Parks and Recreation.
And it's not about a park or recreation. It's about an office.
It's about a team of people who work for the government Department of Parks and Recreation. Basically, they do nothing, but go around and do the job. And it's very funny, and there's a lot of vocabulary there.
Okay. Also, I just thought of one, if I can interrupt you, because
I'm
trying. Okay. Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal. I don't know it.
No.
It's probably
Get
before
out. Would
my
you live
time.
under a rock? Before your time. How old do you think you are? 12? Ally McBeal is in a law office. It's in an office.
Okay,
it's
I
not
don't
only
know
law
it.
things. But yeah, Ally McBeal as well. And go on.
But
options.
another law one would be Suits. Everyone knows it.
You mean Suits?
Not Suits, not Suits, not Suits. Okay.
Suits. And Megan is from Suits.
Exactly. Now she's in the royal family, so.
Well, for now.
Exactly, for now. So
they do podcasts as well. Maybe we could invite them. They've started podcasts. Oh, go on. Not about business English, about other things.
Okay. More important things. So I don't think they have to ever work in an office. So
no.
They probably don't know.
So
any
Suits is
business
good.
English.
What's it about? What kind of office is it? I've never seen it.
It's all about legal things. It's an office about. It's a lot of vocabulary about law, but it's very interesting. It's also very funny. It's a good one to watch. The other one, which Kris, I think you recommended, was 9 to 5.
Because
9
I'm
to
old.
5. This is a bit before.
This
my
was
time.
well before a bit before your time. It's before my time as well. Oh, don't be cheeky. With Dolly Parton. You all know the song 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton.
Yes, but not from the. I didn't know it was a series. Didn't know it was in a series.
No, it was a film. It was a film originally.
It was a film.
A film, yeah.
So 9 to 5 is a film, not a
It's
series.
a film.
It's a film. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you could go forward with these ones if you wanted to improve your business English in your free time. Choose a series that's in an office. It's gonna help you.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's clean and not perverted.
Yeah, you can also go with
The
18
clean
plus.
version. And there's more vocabulary as well, really. But
Yeah,
there's
but-
less vocabulary. So there's more vocabulary in a real series like Suits.
Exactly.
But can I just say something though? Remember, when you're watching a series, don't put it in your original language as subtitles. Make sure the subtitles are in English, because if you have the audio in English and the subtitles in your language, the script is never the same. And so you're not going to learn a damn thing. So if the audio is in English, make sure the subtitles are also in English.
Good advice. Very good advice. Or get rid of the subtitles altogether and just train your brain, get used to it. After a while, you're going to be able to understand it.
Exactly. That's for the more advanced people, obviously. I'm nicer.
And
Kelly's
try and say
evil.
stuff in the
Straight for the
beginning.
difficult things.
Dive right into it.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
And now we love business English, so thanks to
I'd like to take this opportunity to, well, we're laughing about Kelly still, to say that on our website now, chrishaganshop.com, very easy to remember, my name with the word shop.com, you can find fantastic offers, not only in English, but in all the languages we teach. Starting now or starting in September, go and check it out. Now, next we have a guest who is also going to be doing a webinar in 2 weeks, I think, not next week, the week after. It's Jonathan.
Jonathan, talk to us about food around the world. Jonathan, Canadian, the best export after Justin Bieber.
Jonathan's back for the 19th time. 19 times, you mean?
Yes, indeed.
19 times. You're nothing. Fine. I was going to say something, but it's probably a bit perverted, so let's
Good.
not do that. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
skip
after.
it. Thanks.
Tell you after. So go on. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, Kris, it's come to be that time. We should probably talk about coffee.
Uh-huh. My
Of
favorite.
which I've just learned you are allergic.
Two. Okay. Yeah.
In Canada, we have something that we call coffee.
Which is not coffee.
Well, I mean, what is anything really, if you want to get philosophical about it? Technically, there are coffee beans, they've been roasted, they are put in water, and then of course we take a bucket of cream and a bucket of sugar and mix it all together, and now we've got 20 ounces of sludge. So
Sounds delicious.
I agree.
You're really good at selling coffee, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
20 ounces of sludge.
This is the one thing I am not proud to be Canadian when we talk about coffee. I never drank coffee until, as I mentioned previously, I lived in Costa Rica. Obviously, the mountains of Costa Rica is where some of the best coffee in the world can be found. The first cup I ever had, I drank only to be polite. I was invited to dinner, a friend that I had met, family home. We had a lovely meal together, which was completely uneventful. I remember nothing about the meal because Costa Rican food is bland. However, after dinner, I was offered this beautiful, beautiful, aromatic cup of Joe, they say in America. And it was a truly life-changing experience. Apparently, the beans had been recently picked, roasted, ground, and prepared fresh that day because, of course, they were a wealthy family. They knew a guy who knows a guy who owns the plantation, and they get it fresh from the source, right into the cup, right into my mouth.
So extremely fresh then, basically.
Extremely fresh.
Straight from the garden.
As fresh as one could get, I imagine. I had never experienced anything like that in my life. It really, really opened my mind because as a child, I was quite picky about my flavors. Everything had to be separated. But now drinking this, obviously black, it's a proper cup, as if it were a teacup full. So we're not talking espresso. We're not talking American.
Spit in a cup.
No, this is truly filtered, beautiful, thick, rich, aromatic
sludge.
Just wonderful, wonderful deliciousness. No, it wasn't sludge. It was a proper drink. But notes of chocolate and all the things that people say about coffee. Yes, chocolate.
I like chocolate.
Changed my life. So now I developed a taste for coffee. Go back to Canada. The famous coffee chain, the breakfast donut coffee chain is called Tim Hortons, named after a hockey player, of course. Their coffee is absolutely disgusting. So much so that in the national lexicon, the double-double has become a term. That means how you order your coffee: two creams, 2 sugars, double-double. I want a double coffee, double cream, double sugar.
Okay.
Disgusting.
You're changing the
absolutely
dictionary.
disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Never try it. And in fact, the Tim Hortons coffee today is even worse than before. Interestingly enough, the best coffee you can buy in Canada is from McDonald's, black.
Really?
Yes.
Was it Costa Rica?
Well, I'm not sure precisely where they've sourced it from, but it was the original supplier of Tim Hortons, which is why Tim Hortons became so famous, because they had good coffee. But then there was a corporate shuffle. They dropped their more expensive coffee supplier. McDonald's picked them up. And now you can have a true brew. Naturally, in the city, hipster espresso cafes, there's this trend of like the really intense bitter espresso now, because we cover it in cream and sugar. So you can't actually palate black coffee anymore in these places unless you go for the true McDonald's brew.
So here, what do you drink? When
Here
it comes
I
to
drink
coffee?
whatever's available. I make
Whatever's given to
I
you.
make a 6-cup mocha machine with the Lavazza Rossa grind, and I drink 4 or 5 of those a day.
That's just why you're always hyperactive.
Well, I like to say I'm charming.
Another word for hyperactive.
Oh, here's a fun story. I don't know if we have any time left, but I was in Rome. It was the day after, so I wasn't feeling super alive. I ordered
day after what?
A night out.
Okay.
I ordered a caffè doppio, double espresso, and the woman misheard me, and she brought 2 doubles espressos over, and I took one, and I said, "Oh, thank you so much. Don't worry about it." She said, "I'm so sorry. I misunderstood. Don't worry about it." I took one, poured it in the other, and she screamed at me. She's like, "No, you can't do that. You will go to hospital." I'm like, "Well, no. The lethal dosage of caffeine is clearly not 4 espressos. For me, at my weight, it's actually about 173 espressos. Yeah.
So don't drink 173 espressos.
Well, unless you want to get yelled at. I don't know. Yeah.
But you can't put it together. Why?
Well, because she thought I would die.
Ah, okay. But you're still here today.
That's the story. No, I survived. I was vibrating for a couple of days.
So between now and next week, you're vibrating for okay. Just don't drink 176 coffees between now and next week, because next week you have your last time with us.
Excellent.
Are you all prepared for next week?
Not at all.
Perfect. See you next week.
Ciao.
And now we're hungry. Thank you.
Now, as you can probably hear, the heavens have opened and are banging on my roof, and so I have to say, see you next week for the 20th, the last episode. How fantastic this rain. Jingle.
Doesn't matter where you are, in the car or at the bar. Here for you comes in your ears, another word for thanks is cheers. Here's the new kid from the block, here for you around the clock, sharing all his English tips. Chris
is an anagram of risk.